Love Live Nichigasaki High School Idol Club Finale Movie Chapter 2, or as I'm gonna refer to it from now on, Nichigasaki Movie 2. Fun fact, I already watched this movie like 6 times, and 4 out of 6 of those times, I was watching it in a cinema in Japan. Yeah, that's right, I was in Japan for a little bit, and yes, that trip was partly funded by this video. Thank you guys, we've officially fallen off. I don't know if you can tell, but I really like Love Live a lot, though low-key one of the weaker aspects of this franchise are the movies. Nothing wrong with the films, I like them enough, they're all super fun and well animated, but these movies are meant to be viewed after you see the animes, so as actual movies, they kind of fall apart. There's a lot they cram into the movies, and in terms of the execution in most of these, their plots end up feeling kinda disjointed and bloated. And in Nichigasaki Movie 2, that's also kinda the case. There's 2 big storylines involving Mia Taylor and Setsuna Yuki, plus they gotta fit in like 5 musical numbers and some slice of life stuff, and there's like 6 to 7 primary characters, and they all gotta fit it within like, I don't know, like 75 minutes, and of course there's like the usual character arcs and stuff like that. There's a lot on the back of Nichigasaki Movie 2, and I cannot deny, it sometimes suffers from that weight. Like, there are some parts that could have been fleshed out more, and there are other parts that really didn't need to go on for that long. There's a part in the movie where they just kind of fuck around Osaka, and it's really cute and somewhat vital to all the characters, but it could have been paced better, not gonna lie. And that goes for like the first half of the movie after the opening number. It is a bit of a slog. Also, this movie technically has no set protagonist. I mean, I'll argue that Mia and Setsuna are the protagonists, but then again, they consider everyone here a main character. It wasn't a huge issue for me, but it's gonna be especially hard if you watch this without prior knowledge of the franchise. And also, this is more of a nitpick, but Chloe Taylor. Look, I like Chloe Taylor, she's cool, she serves her role in the story, but this is more of a nitpick because number 1, I don't want to diss her voice actress, and 2, English is probably not her first language. But yeah, honestly, her English is really rough.
It was just that one time thing didn't work out, right?
It wouldn't be too much of an issue. The only problem is that it's a lot more noticeable because Mia Taylor's voice actress actually is fluent in English. So you kind of get this contrast of perfect English and roughness. Again, it's just a nitpick, I don't want to gloss on it too much. And also, I don't want to sound hypocritical because when I speak Japanese, I sound like an idiot. But a silver lining to all this is that this has become a new vocal sim for me.
What happened? What's going on?
Experiencing this as a movie, it is really flawed. It's not the best use of the cinematic structure, and it could have been a lot better paced. But as a Love Live movie, yeah, this might be the best movie in the franchise. Oh my god, what were they cooking up here? Nichigasaki Movie 2 is one of the greatest things to come out of Love Live. Like, holy, once this movie gets out of that slog that is the first 30 minutes, it is just non-stop high after high. Top-notch visuals, fire music, and although I have mentioned about the flaws, the 2 different stories they have here is actually very interesting and somehow cohesive with each other. To quickly touch base on Nichigasaki Movie 1, it's fine, but honestly, I thought it was really forgettable because they didn't really take anything in interesting ways. I thought they were fine, and you can't really say I'm a hater because my profile pic is literally one of the main characters in that movie. Nichigasaki Movie 2 shares a lot of the same DNA as Nichigasaki Movie 1. However, unlike Nichigasaki Movie 1, Nichigasaki Movie 2 somehow takes these stories and by proxy these characters in a lot more interesting ways. Like, yeah, they are technically still 2 different stories somehow meshing together in one film, but how it ties together is surprisingly solid. The first story, Mia Taylor's story, involves her sister Chloe being there. And Chloe wants Mia to go back to America, but Mia's got some trauma left over. And it was the only part I understood before English subtitles came out because her story presented the exposition in English as well. Thank you, staff. The story itself is fine, but what really sold me was its execution, and especially how they integrated Rina into this, because oh my god. Now, call me biased, but Rina is my second favorite Love Live character, so I knew whatever she did in this movie, I'd just start clapping like a sea lion. But the way they handled her in this movie, holy sh**, I did not expect that. Oh my god. Was this borderline out of character for her? Kinda. But I loved it. I loved every second of it. And the payoff for her story, oh, sweet baby Shizuku. It hits so hard. It has genuinely one of my favorite scenes in anything Love Live related. And even after getting out of the theater, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Now, it is weird that the best part of Mia's story wasn't Mia herself, but Rina. But if anything, without Rina, this story wouldn't have been as effective emotionally and story-wise. And also, I just loved her dynamic. It's so sweet and wholesome. Then we got the second story of the film, focusing on Setsuna's struggle over her identity. Surprisingly for a Love Live film, They actually delve pretty well into her psyche, wondering who Setsuna Yuki is. Of course, they don't dive too deep into exploring her struggles, which again, could have been better if they allocated their time better. But it was still enough for me to be invested in her struggles, and honestly, my eyes were getting watery by the end of it, which is always a good sign. And like with Rina and Mia, Ai Miyashita's intervention within Setsuna's story is actually very well done. I was quite surprised because honestly, other than a couple of scenes in the anime, Ai and Setsuna have barely any interaction with each other. But here, the relationship is so natural and not an afterthought. It's not like they had to jam her in there because they needed an excuse for Ai to do something. Setsuna and Ai's chemistry felt so natural, and it's totally in character for Ai to be a sort of shining beacon for someone like Setsuna. Admittedly, there is a moment in a vital conversation scene where it does feel like they kinda shoehorn Ai's reasoning to be Setsuna's partner in crime, but honestly, I don't care. It's still a great emotional scene for both of them, and it culminates in a double musical finale that may be the peak of Nijigasaki so far. Yes, I was clapping like a damn sea lion in that theater. And as an added bonus, thanks to the movie, I now ship Setsuna with Ai. Keep those Setsuna Ai Yuri fanarts rolling, please. Low-key, Ai and Rina carried the hell out of this movie. Not to say that everyone was bad, everyone was memorable in their own way. But man, the way they treated Ai and Rina in this movie was so interesting and so cool. These two are essentially the hearts of the movie, making their respective characters open up more. And speaking of, that's why these two wildly different stories kind of work together. It's the similar themes of opening up your feelings. For me and Rina, it's all about opening up about what makes you happy and not hiding it. And for Setsuna, it's all about her opening up on how she struggles under the weight of her alter ego. The two different plots are, again, hampered by the runtime and parts of the execution, but it makes up for it by being so interesting to see play out, and how complementary they are to each other in the grand scheme of things. The theme honestly doesn't feel like an afterthought, it feels like something they were going for. Again, it's kind of the bare minimum, but honestly, I don't care, it's Love Live and it's pretty well done. And speaking of course this is Love Live, and the best parts of the movies are definitely the visuals and the music. And as expected, it's so good. Even beyond those godsends that are the musical numbers, which have some of the best and most creative visuals in all of music anime history, there are so many little moments that are full of energy and life. Like, there's a scene of someone opening up their phone, and it's one of the most fluid things I've ever seen. And there's also a scene with Ai eating takoyaki, which was, again, really fluid and really nice to look at. There's a scene where Setsuna was serving face for 10 seconds, and when he thought it was done, they immediately cut back to her, and it's like the most prettiest frame of an anime girl ever. And the music? Oh man, not a single dud in this soundtrack. Mostly. I'm still mixed on Cheer Mode and Like a Treasure, but those still get an 8 out of 10 for me, and also they are very well implemented within the context of the story. Every other song though? Oh man, 9 or 10 out of 10s across the board. The opening number, which Yoriko that I refuse to pronounce, sets up the mood of the movie so well, on top of being a mind-bending mix of traditional Japanese and electronic music. Stay is an unexpectedly beautiful track from Rina that fits the emotional core of the film. Burn is another Setsuna club banger with some of my favorite visuals in all of Love Live musical numbers, plus a very strong vocal performance from Coco-chan. And Circle of Love. Oh my god, Circle of Love. This is not just my favorite song from Nijigasaki, but also might be a top 5 Love Live song. Unrelentingly spewing with joy from start to finish, with amazing vocal delivery from Nakshan, absolutely infectious production, and lyrics that embody the beauty of Ai and Setsuna's relationship. It is the perfect Love Live song for me, and it's also just an amazing rock song on its own. And yeah, Setsuna's also in this song, and holy shit, Coco-chan is going fucking nuts. If there's a Love Live song that deserves to be sent out to aliens, it's this one. Actually, any Love Live song will do, but honestly, I'd put that one up there. I think what surprises me most about Nijigasaki movie 2 is the fact that this is a Love Live movie, suffering from the same problems as the previous films. Yet despite that, this movie just feels like a different breed from them. The two differing stories are executed with such boldness and emotional depth that it makes for a memorable plot not seen since the first Love Live movie. It doesn't feel like two halves competing for each other, but two halves that are complementing each other and expressing that same theme of opening up your feelings. Beyond that, this movie also recontextualizes the cast in unexpected ways that not only makes these characters more memorable, but also makes their chemistry a lot stronger with each other. And that makes for a more emotionally satisfying movie. And to top it all off, it's got some of the best visuals and music not just in Love Live history, but also music anime as a whole. And yeah, it does have its flaws, but it makes up for it by being bold and having an unrelenting energy that flows from this film from start to finish. Without a Love Live bias, this is like a solid 8 out of 10. But as a Love Live fan, this is a 9 out of 10. It's easily the best Love Live movie since the School Idol Project movie, and also kind of exceeded my expectations. Though, would I recommend it to a non-Love Live watcher, which is like a majority of you? Absolutely not. But if you're curious, go check out the movie, and maybe go watch Nishigasaki after, or maybe the Love Live franchise as a whole. Let me know what you think of this film if you've seen it, and before you ask, no, I am not becoming a Love Live channel, this was just a coincidence. Alright, I'm gonna go hibernate. See you when Tomodachi Life releases.
バッドバニーを食べたい。
バッドバニーを食べた